Welcome to the YMCA of Greater Boston. This building was constructed in 1912 to be a YMCA. The cornerstone was laid by then President Taft, who had some amazing words to say about social service organizations and their place and their role in the community. And so I think it's appropriate for us to have this celebration take place here, and we're so honored to be the host site. We want to thank President Van Saun for being here with us this morning, and our great friend and colleague Jerry Sargent, the Massachusetts president of Citizens Bank. We had the pleasure of celebrating Citizens Bank just 3 weeks ago for the great work that we've been able to do in partnership, and I think we all as nonprofit organizations feel that way. That we have a wonderful opportunity to call Citizens Bank our partners in the work that we do each and every day. And today is a celebration of that and that work. And so let me also congratulate Mark Valentine on his new role. And we look forward to, all of us as nonprofits, look forward to working with you, Mark, as we move forward in this work. And we would be remiss if we didn't thank the two people that we find ourselves working with more often, most closely, and that's Carrie and where's Rick? Rick is here. Rick, where are you? And Rick, thank you. So I have the honor of introducing Jerry, who is going to open our event, officially open our event this morning, but I'd like to close with a well-known proverb that I've modified just ever so slightly. It is said that if you give a person a fish, he or she will eat for a day, but that if you teach him or her to fish, that he or she will eat for a lifetime. And I think that that's part of our work in workforce development, is to teach people how to fish so that they can fish for the rest of their lives. However, we all know that that's not the full story, and so we are so blessed to have a mayor like Mayor Marty Walsh. Because what Mayor Marty Walsh does, and his team, his incredible team, is they create places at the river for that fishing to happen. Because if you don't have places at the river for people to fish, then they won't eat. And so we're so blessed to have you, Mayor, as our mayor. And as you know, I'm very proud to call you my mayor. And so thank you for thank you for what you do each and every day. So congratulations to all the award recipients today, and so it's now my honor to introduce my friend, my co-conspirator, and my fellow collaborator in the work, Jerry Sargent. Thank you.
So this is why I do not like following this guy at a podium. It seems like I'm always behind him at a podium, and he makes it hard. So thank you, James, and more importantly, thanks to the entire YMCA team. This is an amazing team. We truly enjoyed our celebration with his team at the Sparks event last month, celebrating the work that the Y is doing in our community every day is a real honor. So thank you, James, to you and your team. And I thought today I would just start, I'm going to give you three numbers. So 18,000, 30, and 150. So three completely, unconnected numbers, and I wanted to tell you the meaning of those numbers to us at Citizens Bank. So the first number, 18,000, represents the number of colleague hours volunteered in Boston since 2013. The second number, thank you. The second number, 30, is 30%, and that's the increase in volunteerism in 2018 in Boston over 2017, so we're moving it the right direction. And then the last number, 150, is the number of boards and committees that my colleagues at Citizens sit on here in the Boston community. So I tell you all of that because I'm really proud of the company that I work for, and I'm really proud of the fact that my colleagues are so engaged in what we're doing here in the community. So today is a day to really celebrate 12 very special organizations, and I can't think of a better person than to have our mayor sitting here with us today. So I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think James laid it out really well. I mean, we are here because you have been a tireless advocate for the economic development, neighborhood revitalization, and making sure that every citizen of this city is being given an opportunity. So thank you for doing that, and thanks for your presence today. So we all know that Boston is the home to some amazing nonprofit organizations. And so when we have the chance to celebrate 12 of them in a setting like this, it's a really special moment for us. So today, we want to acknowledge that we've made grants that total $500,000 in support of these organizations. But I think the money is just part of the story. It gets back to the volunteerism that I talked about. It takes an effort of both the corporate community as well as nonprofit organizations in government to come together and work to solve some of the most vexing issues that we have in our local community. And one of those is in the area of workforce development and creating economic independence for people in our community, because that's the way I think in which we're going to create stability and opportunity for everyone in our neighborhood. So I want to say congratulations to these 12 organizations. I'm going to read them name by name because I want you all to be able to hear who we're partnering with and who's really doing the heavy lifting out in the community. The Asian American Civic Association. Boston Main Street Foundation. That's the competition I'm looking for right there. Build Boston. Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Future Chefs. Pine Street Inn. Rose Kennedy Greenway Conservancy. St. Francis House, the Boston Foundation Skill Works, New England Center and Home for Veterans, the YMCA of Greater Boston, and LISC Boston. And so each one of you provides, I think, a vital component of the work that we're trying to do to create the skills necessary to help our neighbors succeed. And you know, I see Mary over here from the Asian American Civic Association, and the program that is near and dear to my heart is Careers in Banking and Finance, where you know, she's taking people in our local community and skilling them to actually be able to work in either the retail environment or in the banking environment. And it's creating a platform for, I think, success for people in need. And I could go on, whether it's Build or whether it's Bridge or Future Chefs. These are all organizations working to support our youth here in the city. So I could literally go on, but we do have some other special announcements that we want to make today. And so at this time, I want to introduce our chairman and CEO, Bruce Van Saun. Bruce, as you may or may not know, has now been, I think you're celebrating your 5th anniversary with us now, Bruce. And so 5 years of Bruce's leadership, I think, has created an absolute revitalization of our own company. And I think you can see that manifest itself in many ways, the least of which is not the way we're going into the community and trying to really play an active role. And a lot of that starts from the top. So those volunteer hours that I talked about, that starts by having a leader who leads by example. So let me introduce to you Bruce Van Saun.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, James. Thanks, everybody, for turning out today. It's great to be your partner and really make an impact on the community. Boston's been a very key market for Citizens, and we have a very strong market share here and in the Commonwealth overall. I'll just give you a few stats, but we have nearly 3,400 colleagues in Massachusetts. We have over 200 retail branches. We've got teams serving commercial clients that operate out of a headquarters at 28 State Street. We also have our consumer banking operations headquartered over in Dedham. So a very big presence here in Boston and in Massachusetts. One of the things that we find, and when we're out talking to our customers, that attracting talent is really one of the greatest challenges facing employers, including banks like ourselves, but across all industries. You know, all companies are dealing with a very changing environment and a need for constantly upgrading their skills of their labor forces. So at Citizens, we really understand the value of building and investing in tomorrow's workforce and how it benefits us and it benefits all companies across the state. We're making sure that we're helping every person have an opportunity to reach their potential. So across the communities that Citizens serve, we're really committed to partnering with organizations like those that are here today in this room, groups that we think get it and that work hard to make a difference for those residents who need a helping hand. I'd like to take just a minute to expand on what Jerry said, describe how we harness the power of Citizens Bank to support great organizations like the YMCA. We have an overall umbrella effort that we call Citizens Helping Citizens that really focuses on three major areas. The first one is fighting hunger, the second one is promoting financial literacy, and the third one is strengthening communities. And Citizens Helping Citizens really is a comprehensive program overall that positions us to better take advantage of the tools and resources that we can bring to the table. A few things. First off, we try to provide funding and grants. Last year, we provided around $15 million of cash, which obviously goes a long way. That helps organizations operate, launch new programs, and in the case of today, launch new initiatives. We also provide leadership and strategic support. Jerry mentioned many of our colleagues are serving on boards as advisors. We have a unique skill set to do that. We also have many great colleagues like the ones that we see here today in the room who volunteer their time and talent and passion for these organizations. And if you look at the overall impact of that, you know, Jerry mentioned I got here about 5 years ago. We were big in the community, but we probably, I think the count was about 55,000 hours logged. Today, we're on track to do 125,000 hours this year, and we've more than doubled the people who are actually involved and volunteering, which is terrific. I think there's still a lot of upside from that number, by the way, and I'm constantly promoting that when I'm out on the road. But you know, here today, it's particularly meaningful because workforce development is a really key aspect of the Strengthening Communities effort that we offer, where we're focusing on creative solutions to the toughest challenges in our neighborhoods, economic development, job training, small business development, affordable housing, and neighborhood revitalization. We know that having a good job is about more than just having a paycheck, so we really try to focus on people's ability to meet their needs and to pursue their goals and their dreams. So it's very rewarding for me today to see this holistic approach come to fruition as it's doing today. With that as background, let me proceed to make two announcements regarding our strong support of workforce initiatives here in the city and in the state. First, just this morning, we announced a new national partnership with Local Initiative Support Corporation, or LISC, as people know it for short, which support workforce development. So LISC is a great organization we've been working with for several years. We committed $500,000 plus to support two innovative programs in the workforce development space that'll cover three major cities, Boston, Philadelphia, and Providence. And both of these opportunities will provide skill-based volunteer opportunities for our Citizens colleagues in 2019. The first one is called the Health-Related Bridges to Career Opportunities. That's a program that's targeted education, training, and coaching to support and connect local workforce with available mid-level jobs in high-demand industries. And here in Boston, that'll bring needed training for jobs in the pharmaceutical industry. The second one, Citizens will be the first sponsor to bring the long-term career retention, development, and wage advancement coaching program, I have to work on shortening these names a little bit, pilot to the East Coast. Our funding will provide intensive long-term post-placement coaching to 120 program participants that'll increase their wages, improve their job tenure, and increase their occupational skills. I'd love to invite LISC Boston Executive Director Karen Kelleher to stand up and be recognized. Karen. Now I'd like to turn to our second announcement, and the Boston Main Streets Foundation is a public-private venture established in 2007 by the City of Boston. The organization strives to help neighborhood districts improve economic growth, add to the quality of life in the community, and create a better experience for locals and tourists alike. Citizens Bank has contributed $400,000 in support of Boston Main Streets Foundation over the past few years. And today, we're proud to announce that we're making an additional $100,000 in funding available to our partner, the Boston Main Streets Foundation, to promote immigrant, minority, and women-owned small businesses in converting from cash-only to a modern credit and debit technologies and banking services. You might not know, but many minority and immigrant-owned small businesses operate as cash-only businesses due to lack of technology and lack of training. Consumer studies show that only 11% of respondents prefer to use cash. 40% prefer credit cards. 35% prefer debit transactions. So obviously, if you don't have the latter two, you're not really in the game the way you should be. So the goal of this program will be to partner with small business owners with point-of-sale vendors to provide the latest innovative credit card processing equipment, training, and data collection through various initiatives. Citizens Bank will be actively involved by providing financial literacy and small business management coaching to enable small businesses to leverage the technology and make the transition from cash-only business to modern banking. So with that, I'd like to close. With an introduction. Mayor Marty Walsh has been a tireless advocate for the Boston Main Streets Foundation to foster new opportunities for neighborhood small business and sustain a more engaging environment for Boston residents and visitors, taking full advantage of the city's many wonderful and diverse Main Street districts. His leadership has been pivotal as the business community, nonprofits, and government officials come together to renew our commitment to addressing workforce and economic development issues. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce Boston Mayor Marty Walsh.
Thank you, Bruce. And let me start by thanking Citizens. And Jerry, thank you and your team at Citizens for being a great corporate partner in the city of Boston, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, quite honestly. And the organization, you gave a lot of money away today, by the way, keeping track. So thank you for that. Thank you. I'll get back to you in a minute. James, thank you very much as well. And I want to, whoever staged the little guy running through here, thank you for doing it with James was up here and not me. That was incredible. Joel, thank you for the work you're doing on Main Streets and really taking the foundation to a whole new level. I want to thank John Barrows, Chief of Economic Development, that's here with us today, and John's entire staff and Main Streets and everyone here from the city. This stuff that we're doing in the city, and the directors from the different Main Streets, thank you for being here today. Without having incredible people working together, we wouldn't have what we have here in the city of Boston. So thank you to all of you. The organizations that were read off, and I think most people know in the room, but it truly is a village concept here in Boston. We're going through a lot of conversation about what's happening on a national level and unrest. And if you read the TV, watch TV or read the newspaper, some people feel like just like closing the door and coming out in a couple of years from now. But that's not happening here in Boston. And it's not happening because of the great organizations that are here. And every single organization that was mentioned today, what they're doing in their particular part of the world is making it so important as far as Boston being a caring city and caring for people. And I want to thank all of you for doing it. And you know, I've worked, if I start shouting you out, I'll get in trouble, but we've all worked with every single organization in this room. So thank you for what you do. Main streets in the city, tying it all in together, really understanding the importance of the neighborhood. When they were founded here in Boston over 20 years ago, it was really about getting local economic development opportunities going in neighborhoods. And the Main Street program has done that and kept that going time and time again. And we used to talk about one or two different main streets many years ago that were the kind of shining stars, if you will. And today we can talk about all 20 of our districts that are doing amazing work across the city of Boston. And I want to thank each and every one of you, because our Main Street directors that are here, not only do they work on creating opportunities for businesses, but they're also social workers in a lot of cases, because the challenges that our neighborhoods have in different areas, and the directors are tied into the organizations that are here. And I want to thank all of you for what you do every single day as well. And I want to thank citizens. You know, anytime, it's important to have good, strong corporate partners, and not just citizens, but everyone the different developers that are in the room that support the Main Streets Foundation. Thank you for that as well. Today is about citizens and the announcements they've made, but without all of you, and without having somebody like citizens, and Jerry in particular, because we work with you, having somebody really leading the charge here in Boston to show the others the light, the others the way. I want to thank you for that. I have a whole bunch of stats I'm supposed to read off here today. And I might get to that in a minute. You know, 40,000 small businesses. If I don't, John Barros is looking at me now. We put the numbers together for you, so use it. You know, the beauty is, I talk about this a lot, and to your announcement today, Boston is an immigrant city. 28% of the residents that live in our city were born in another country. 48% of the people that live in our city are first generation like I am. 51% of the people in our city are people of color, and 52% of the households led in our city are led by women. So when you think about the diversity of our city, how important it is, and the investments that we need to make in those areas, it's so important that we do that. We have 40,000 small businesses, represent more than a third of the business revenue, and nearly half of all the private sector employment here in the city of Boston. So you think about our bread and butter is our small businesses. I was asked a lot of questions yesterday, and John was about Amazon and bringing Amazon in or not. And, you know, what we both said was that, you know, we were honored to be part of the conversation of Amazon. But at the end of the day, Amazon chose two other cities, and good luck to the two cities, and I'm happy for them. But our bread and butter is our small businesses. Our bread and butter is the immigrant who starts a business. Our bread and butter is the immigrant family that you're going to be helping with the grant to really help them bring their technology and bring their company into the 21st century. That's really that's the future of our city right there. And that's the bread and butter, and that's what Main Street is all about, and all of you. So I just want to thank everybody for being here today. I want to thank citizens, again, for your continued commitment to our city. I want to thank all the Main Street directors that are here today. Thank you for your great work in your different neighborhoods. To all the different foundations and different organizations that are here, I want to give a special shout out to the homeless organizations here today, because 4 years ago, we sat at a table and we started talking about dealing with homelessness and how do we deal with it different. We took our plan and threw it out the window. And we came back with a whole new plan, because we work with E&D, and we work with the Bridge, and we work with Pine Street, and we worked with all the folks to come up with a different model here in the city, and the different model that people can steal and use. And it's working. We've housed 1,800 people in the last 4 years collectively, and we just got a federal grant of $5 million to come up with a new plan, new policy for youth homelessness. We're going to continue to work. Those are the issues that are really important to all of us today. So I'm not upset about Amazon. I am happy about today and moving forward and continue to move our city forward for everyone that lives in our city. So thank you very much.
So thank you, Mayor Walsh. And I think most importantly, thank you for creating the conditions that enable us to be successful and to partner together. And it takes a tapestry of organizations to come together and really make this all work. And you've set the tone and created the conditions. So thank you for that. So you just heard about Boston Main Streets, and we're very lucky today because we have Joel Sklar here, who is the chairman of the Main Street Board. Joel is also a principal at Samuels and Associates. And I know, Joel, you've been very engaged in what Boston Main Streets is doing, and so I would love to welcome you to come up to the podium and maybe say a few words.
Thanks, Jerry. This is an incredible event, and it really is exciting to be part of this overall presentation of these grants by citizens, because it really shows the breadth of the impact that the business community in Boston, led by citizens today, can have in participating in the health and the growth of the community. So on behalf of the Boston Main Streets Foundation and all the districts who are here in force today, you heard them, we strategically scheduled a meeting right before this. I want to extend a huge thank you to citizens, to Bruce Van Saun and Jerry Sargent, Rick Musial and Carrie Harrison, who've done an incredible amount of work connecting not just with us, I see, but with all of these groups, and really coming up and pushing us to come up with innovative, creative programs that have impact and not just doing the same thing, not just giving a check, but collaborating with us to really come up with programs and be innovative to drive the next level of engagement with the city and the community. So that's really special, and I want to acknowledge that. I also want to, of course, thank Mayor Walsh for his incredible leadership. It's worth saying again, supporting small businesses throughout the city. The Chief of Economic Development, John Barros, who oversees all of the economic development functions, and his whole Main Streets team, newly now being led by Natalia Urtubey. And we're thrilled to have her aboard. She's got such a great knowledge of the overall plans for the city. I also want to give a shout out to Steve Gilman and Emily Patrick, who really led the charge together with Carrie in pulling this whole application and grant program together. This was something that really took a lot of effort and thought and creativity. So a lot has changed since the foundation was formed in 2007. There was no such thing as Twitter or Instagram, believe it or not. The oldest millennials were just starting to graduate college, and people actually paid for things with cold, hard cash. Here in 2018, where everything's just one click away, small businesses need to find innovative ways to keep pace with technology that drives their business transactions. I've been hugely impressed with the work of the Boston Main Street's executive directors to boost foot traffic and engagement in the neighborhoods. Programming like trolley tours, art crawls, mobile apps, all kinds of education programs. They really do a lot of work. And without this foundational understanding of technology, though, to reach those new consumers that we're bringing to the communities, to handle that foot traffic, to really grow and engage the businesses directly, it's hard to take advantage of that, and traditional shops will be left behind in this whole wave of growth. So cash-only businesses have been long been common in the immigrant and minority communities in the city of Boston, and is becoming a barrier to attracting younger plastic and cell phone wielding shoppers. With this generous grant from Citizens Bank, we're tackling these 21st century challenges. We'll be hiring a technology consultant to work with the vendors and the businesses across the districts to create and purchase appropriately tailored point-of-sale solutions so they can begin accepting digital payments and become part of the technological advancements that are happening. This not only makes for more convenient and quicker consumer transactions, which it does, these systems help businesses better understand their products and their profits. They create safety for businesses who don't need to keep cash around in excess before making a deposit at the bank. And they build a database of customers who can be marketed to and brought back for repeat business. So this effort will have a huge impact on businesses across the city, dozens of businesses within the main streets. And so again, I just want to say thank you to citizens for your vision and your leadership and your partnership with us, and for investing in Boston's commercial districts. Thank you.
Okay, so let me end where we began. A hearty thank you to our host, James Morton and Julie and the whole team at the Y for hosting us here today. What he didn't tell you, he gave you some history of this room, but this is the first YMCA in America, right here. So right here in Boston. So this is a very special place doing very special work, and I think this team is up to the task. And I also want to end by thanking all of you for being here today, showing up, as you always do. That alone makes a huge difference. So it's great to see so many friends in the room working together. And we have one very special thank you. Pine Street Inn, through its I Cater program, a workforce development program, has lunch prepared for us today. So as we end this, please feel free to come up and enjoy some lunch and mingle if you can. And I hope you all have a really terrific holiday season coming up. Take care. Thank you.